Hi everyone, this is Thursday's video. This will be the last video that you have this week, and the next video you will watch will be Tuesday's video. So in this video, the reason why I've decided not to do a Friday video is because it's kind of just reiterating the things that we've already covered in the two concision videos. So revision, proofreading, and editing, I've already talked to you guys a lot about that, and really it's just on a case-by-case basis. So Friday I'm kind of just going to make like a conference day, and if you have any questions, I'll be more available to you on Friday to answer those questions via email. For Thursday, today's video, I'm going to introduce you to the midterm portfolio by looking at the template and the sample, as well as the reflective cover memo in both of these documents. Read over these pages in JAC because they will provide some more specific information for you in terms of the midterm, and part of your homework is actually to read the sample that is on eCampus. So discussion 9 will still be due on Friday. It's just to complete this page in JAC, and you can do it the same submission way that you completed page 78. So I also have specific directions on discussion 9. Again, as I mentioned before, all of the information for the Memorial Day Monday will be pushed to Tuesday. So again, your midterm portfolio is due at 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday. So you have two things due. Discussion 10 will still be due at 6 p.m. and then the midterm will be due a little bit later. But the midterm has only 3 main things in it, 3 to 4. We're going to go over that right now. So in your midterm, let's just go ahead and show you where all these documents can be found. So in each unit, you go to coursework and then papers. Each unit has a folder, and you've already done obviously the annotated bibliography and the proposal. So the midterm is just a compilation of these documents, including or in addition to the reflective cover memo and a peer review sample, which you've already done the peer review as well. So here's the template that I'm going to talk about now. Here's the sample that's part of your homework to read, and then revising the annotated bibliography is just a document that I put in this folder as well as the annotated bibliography folder because a lot of you are having issues with the evaluation and the connection parts of the annotated bib, so I created this document to try to help you a little bit more with those sections. So what I would recommend is you download the template and then you actually copy and paste your documents into the template. The reason for this is because I've already kind of set everything up for you here. If it's easier for you to just kind of combine your documents together in a new document, that's fine. But the whole midterm should be in one doc, DOC or DOCX, okay? So don't make me hunt around on eCampus for like your annotated bib midterm submission, your proposal midterm submission. Just put them all into one entire document, okay? So the first part of this document is the reflective cover memo. You may have had to write reflective cover memos for English 101, maybe not. If you're new to it, we're going to go through it. So the first part is the memo format itself. I've already filled that out for you here. You need to keep all of these things. Don't do anything crazy with them. Don't bold them. Don't do anything like that. All you need to do is just add your name here, and don't add it in caps. I just did that to catch your eye. Last thing up here, just double click on the header, get rid of last name and type your last name here. Keep the page numbers. So all of that is just formatting, and I've tried to do as much work for you as possible, so like submitting the date and the subject line. The next part is the content itself in addition to the paragraph structure. So as you can see here, I want you to start the the reflective cover memo right at there's no indentation, and that's because this is a memo format, a business memo format. So start it on this line, write one full page single spaced. You can write a little bit over, but it needs to be one full page. And when I say full page, I mean a full page. I'm asking only for one, and you have like a whole weekend to do it. So make sure you reach that full page. This midterm reflective cover memo is weighted almost as much as a paper. So if you neglect it, you're missing one major part of your entire midterm. So don't do that. Don't sabotage your grade, okay? Don't indent paragraphs like I just said. Put a space between them. And also you notice I'm not crazy with the spacing, so don't try to be tricky and say, okay, I'm going to start it here and then get a full page. I'm not silly. I'm not stupid. So go ahead and just start it on this line. So what should you include in the midterm reflective cover memo? The main thing I want to know is what revisions you made and why. If you did not make revisions, just justify why you did not make them. And you can pull direct quotes from your paper. That's fine. We're going to look at a really good sample of a midterm reflective cover memo in just a second, and that will hopefully give you some ideas for how to complete yours. So again, what revisions you made and why should be the focus, and you might include information about what you've learned, how you feel you've improved in the class. Discussion 6 talked about this a little bit. Some trouble spots you have with your writing, what you still want to learn. Please don't just copy and paste discussion 6. Try to develop on your writing in this section here. And don't provide fluff or BS. So I've been a student for a long time, and I've also been teaching for a long time, so I can identify it pretty easily. Just be honest in your reflective cover memo, and also don't present a sloppy portfolio. Proofread it. Again, it's weighted almost as much of it as a paper, and it's the first thing I'll see when I'm looking at your entire portfolio. So think about ethos there. All right, the next thing would be the annotated bib revision, and of course you would take out this line. Someone once, last semester, he left all of these template markings in there. Just go ahead and take them out, polish it up. I don't need to see my own words, so like this, delete that, but I'm just telling you to see how long, like how many pages it needs to be. I put all of these filler in here. All right, proposal revision, you'll keep this header. You'll take out obviously title and begin proposal here, and then all the way down to the peer editing. So as it explains here, this is from the discussions, and this is something you don't need to change. So you'll just go into the discussion section, and I want you to choose which peer editing that represents your ability to collaborate or communicate with your peers the best. So you've done 2 of them. Choose whichever one you want, and you're basically copying and pasting here. Make sure the formatting is still the same, that it doesn't change the font size or the font type. Just standardize all of that. And I'm wanting something that you wrote. So I'm not grading what your peers can write about you. I'm grading what you wrote about your peers. Okay, so that's the template. That's the biggest part. So download this, and I would just copy and paste your edited drafts into this document, because I won't search around, like I said, on eCampus to try to find pieces of your midterm. I want them all in one document. Okay, so that's for that. The midterm sample, like I just mentioned, here is an example of a portfolio. Oh, good heavens. Okay, so here's an example of a really great midterm portfolio, and I already took out the student name, but she had a little bit here about like her hesitations before English 102, and some of you put that in discussion 6 as well. That's fine. Stuff that she's learned kind of overall, and this is again with the theme. Some of this stuff won't apply when you guys read the sample, because the evaluation paper is a paper that I assigned during the normal semester. It's required for English 102, but during the summer, because it's much tighter time frame, I cut out this entire paper. So everything that she's saying here about the evaluation paper, you can read it just to get a feel for how she's writing her reflective cover memo. However, don't freak out if you see there's an extra paper that you haven't done. You are not going to do this paper. All right, so as you can see here, she created subheadings which not only add length, but they add clarity in terms of her structure to her reflective cover memo. She just bolded them and put them justified left. Citing was another issue for her, and then making connections. So hers is obviously a little bit over, like by 1/3 to 1/2 of a page, so you don't need to write this much, but this is a superior midterm for sure in terms of the grading scale. All right, so then annotated bibliography, you just put it immediately after start a new page, goes all the way down, and again, this is the revised version. And then it has, in another video, we actually looked at her proposal. So we do all of that. And then I didn't include her peer review here, but because we need to generate length more so for a summer class, since I cut out an entire paper, you guys go ahead and put your peer review here, and that will count as actually like a full page. So you can get a little bit more length, because the department requires 20 pages by the time you get to your final portfolio. So we need to have that minimum in order for you to get credit for this class. Okay, so this is what you will receive from me once I have finished grading your midterm reports. This is pretty self-explanatory. Your name will go here. I broke it down into 3 columns. The criteria is already, it's on the syllabus, but it's in your books. I gave you the pages for these. So participation, this is basically just lateness and not necessarily completion, but participation, the quality of the content and was it late or not. So that's really, most people I'm expecting to get an A in participation as long as you've done those 2 things. Exploratory writing are the discussions, so I'm grading discussions 1 through 10, counting toward the midterm because there are 20 discussions total. So 1 through 10, you can kind of get a feel for how you've been doing. Also, I put those grades on eCampus, so you should actually know your exploratory writing grade already. Most of you are doing really well. I'm grading pretty easily on these. And then the portfolio assessment, the criteria for that is here. And then as you can see here, I've broken it down as well. So participation, there'll be a letter grade here. Exploratory writing, letter grade here. Working portfolio, letter grade here. The reason why it says working portfolio is because I expect some things to change by the final portfolio. If you're not pleased with your midterm grade, most people just keep revising what they're working on because maybe they ran out of time or they learned a new concept later that would then help them in their former work or their earlier work. So their course grade at midterm typically goes up. It typically increases. But this grade doesn't go down anywhere. It just is a way for me to communicate with you guys how your progress in this class. So if you're not pleased with this course grade at midterm, then you should contact me via email, and we can set up a way to talk about this, basically via email. But there are a couple of specific things that I request in order for you to talk to me about grades because sometimes it can get tense, and I've dealt with tense situations before, and I want it to be a pleasant experience for you and for me. So here are a couple of guidelines that I've created in order for us to avoid any unnecessary tension. So the first, a couple of these, you will receive this actually whenever, this whole document, whenever I give you back your midterm grade form. And they're just some things to keep in mind. So the midterm grades don't count on your transcript at all. They are completely malleable. So your final grade will. Your final grade is the thing that goes down on your transcript as if you know what you scored in the class. So like I just mentioned, it can improve or worsen. The working portfolio grade is for the whole portfolio, so all 4 sections, the reflective cover memo, the annotated bib, the proposal revision, and the peer review, the annotated bib revision. And I won't assign individual grades for individual projects. I can just say, here's some more feedback for how you can improve your annotated bib or proposal, etc. All the rubrics I'm using to grade your portfolio and everything else, like I mentioned previously, they're in your textbook at the very beginning. And then discussions 1 through 10 cannot be revised. That's partially why they're graded so basically easily, but also they can't be late. So if they are late, you'll get a 0 with them. But most of you have been doing an excellent job of not having them be late. Okay, so how to approach me after midterm grade. So once you get your midterm grade emailed back to you, take 24 hours at least before you ask me any questions. If I see that I get something in my inbox before 24 hours, I'll completely ignore it. I'm telling you this outright. The second thing is read all of my comments. So I do take a lot of time making videos, writing comments, responding to emails, etc. So I want you guys to take probably twice as much work at least responding to those. So make sure you've read all my comments, because if I say, oh, well, did you change X, Y, and Z in your paper, and you say, what do you mean X, Y, and Z, then it'll be pretty apparent that my feedback is just being ignored as well. Read the rubrics, number 3. So they've been in your book since day 1, and be honest with yourself. Do you fit into an A, B, C, D portfolio column? Can you demonstrate that? How are you demonstrating that in your writing? And then the one question I will not answer is, why did I get this grade? So you need to come up with specific questions to ask me in order to have a conversation about your grade. Like, what can I do to improve my grade? Or I've thought about X, Y, and Z. Maybe, or I've already thought of some solutions in order to raise my grade. Can you help me with this? And keep in mind that this is geared toward revision, okay? So things change, and I expect your grade to improve. I just want to make all of this clear before the midterm is actually due. So that's pretty much it for the midterm. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and they're due Tuesday at midnight.